Hey kids, join the club. Get the all-new CCXCC t-shirt made with 100% mutant power. Be like these cool kids. Get it now on dinobeast.com and chrisandersoncomics.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chris Claremont X-Men Comic Club. I am here, as always, with my good friend, John Coates. John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing terrific, Chris.
Awesome. We are going right into issue 119 of X-Men. When last we met our fine freaky muties, the team was stranded in Japan trying to get a hold of anybody in America, and an earthquake had hit Japan, and we run into Sunfire again, and at the end, the baddie who turns out to have been causing these earthquakes is a fellow named Moses Magnus. Magnum. Moses Magnum. That's right. I don't know if do we ever see this character again? I don't know. It's interesting. Looking at the cover there, there's a little seal on there. It says Eagle Award. I wonder what that's about.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what that's about.
Okay.
So great Dave Cockrum once again on covers with Austin inks. Great battle shot, team shot, good Sunfire down in the foreground here. Great composition on this one. And we get this little seal, Eagle Award.
Ding, ding, ding.
And I'm pretty sure that shows up on some other comics in this era.
Okay.
It'll show up every now and again. So that is... it's not quite like the Eisner, but it's kind of like an Eisner thing award, but it's British.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So the X-Men for like the second year in a row won the British Eagle Awards for like favorite team and favorite book. And then Terry Austin won the Eagle Award for Best Inker.
Okay. Interesting.
So and it's really interesting that they put it on the book since, England isn't like the primary market, but they go ahead and put it, on the cover. It's like really interesting. Like I want to do some more research on the Eagle Awards and find out more stuff about them.
Yeah, you would think that they would do a different printing altogether for the UK. Just interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, and they do.
Yeah,
because there's the ones that have like the instead of 35 cents, it'll be like 30p or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But they have it on these ones too. So then we open for our splash page here, and oh, look at that. Terry Austin's signature.
Get out of here.
On his award-winning comic book. What?
That's awesome. Yeah, this is actually an issue where the issue before this was not inked by Austin, and even though it still looked great, he's just so damn good. And it's noticeable when you look at the two back to back when you continue the story, and what a great one to have his signature on. When you're slapped in the face with how good he is after seeing the last one, which again wasn't bad, but and also an Eagle Award winning issue. Wow,
that's right.
Cool.
That's right.
I always love Storm's cape when they do this, like, wing kind of thing with it.
Yeah, great. What a great opening page here.
Yeah.
This great Storm flying. We get Nightcrawler Just awesome.
Yeah, really great.
This is a Claremont burned joint, as they have been here. Terry Austin, of course, on inks. Costanza on letters, and our Glynis Ween on colors.
Awesome.
And we are right into the action here. They are flying over this little, we see this little like hollowed out volcano looking thing down here, and you can see some little tech down in it, little lights and computers and a little radio tower.
A lot of that going on in the last few issues. A lot of bases in mountains and magma and
yeah,
valleys and things.
Yeah, very popular with X-Men villains.
Yes. Notice right away, kind of glaring, is that we don't get that Cockrum double spread on the second page there.
Yeah. He's got
right into the action.
Too much to talk about, too much story to tell. They can't waste the page, I guess.
So.
Mm-hmm. And boom, she kind of lets Nightcrawler go, and he teleports down, and he is in this sort of base in the mountain.
Yep.
And he's at the top, and now he's going to sort of sneak his way down. And right away, we get this great Nightcrawler using his tail to like grab this unsuspecting guard and knock him out.
Yeah. So here's something. He had mentioned, so previously he had mentioned that he didn't like to, or was afraid to kind of bamf into areas that he hadn't been in before because of fear of, being stuck in a wall or, getting chopped in half by, some object in the way.
Yeah.
Here he is more confident in doing that. But also he does, he mentions that this one time does it and it works. And then we don't really see him do it again. But then after the Savage Land, there's this period of was it 6 weeks that they said that they're on this ship heading to Japan, where there's a month and a half where we're missing from the journey of the X-Men. And it just kind of talks about how Scott really whipped them into shape. And then he even mentions later where he is able to jump from the ship to the mainland further than he'd ever been, and he wasn't even winded. So he's getting better at what he's doing. So I guess somehow he's he's more confident and able to jump into places, because how the hell would he know where he was in here,
Yeah, and I think, like he's flying with Storm like really high up, and maybe they kind of show us that angle so like he can see this little landing bit all the way at the top of this hollowed out.
Oh, okay. So he's not indoors.
It's something he can see from a really far distance, but it's still not quite the same as that he like having been to the location before. So it's still dicey to
okay. So he can see it. I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So then that's kind of like, so then he's got to like, he couldn't teleport like way down in.
Right.
So he's got to like, he could go to the very top that he could see, and he made it that far, and now he's got to like sneak the rest of the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so, yeah, here he goes. And then we get, now we get our little flashback, one of our little devices here, like the action starts, and then we flash back an hour or a day or whatever. And here we are with the Prime Minister and the X-Men, and they're talking about the ultimatum that Moses Magnum gave them in the previous issue, that if Magnum isn't made ultimate ruler of Japan, then he's going to sink Japan. And their first question is, can he actually do that? And they pull up this nifty map showing the fault lines and things, and they're like, yeah, if he sets off his Magnum force in these areas, he can totally sink Japan.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay. And we get a little bottom informational note here that basically Magnum has showed up before in other Marvel comics, and twice before we've thought that he's been dead, but he's showed up again. So he was in an issue of Giant Size Spider-Man #5, and then Power Man Annual #1.
Yep.
And now he's in X-Men.
Yep.
What do you know? And of course, this great little drop here, like, thanks to the investigative works of Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, we know where Magnum's base is. So that's what they were doing here. They were helping out, investigating to find out where this bad guy was. But of course, if Magnum senses anybody trying to attack his base, he'll set off the Magnum Force and sink Japan.
Yes.
So stealth mission is needed. And so here we go. We get back to the X-Men deciding, like, okay, we got to do this thing. And Nightcrawler is inside the base, and he's kind of radioing out to Misty Knight.
There's that jagged electric gutter to tell you that they're talking to each other.
Amazing.
I'm gonna start using that again. Bring it back.
Oh yeah, you should. We're gonna reclaim it.
That's right.
And she's got this great little, like, when she's done talking to him, she's like, one strike out.
Yeah, because they're using these baseball terms, right?
Yeah. So they only get one strike. And then here we got our flyers are flying around up top, and so they get the signal. So now they're going to start attacking the base, which I kind of question what the heck they're doing, but okay. And Banshee starts using his scream to sort of disrupt the sort of antenna here. And Magnum's guys are like, oh, I think we might be under attack.
They got these sort of half black, half white Star Wars Rebel Alliance helmets on.
Yeah, they're kind of weird. And so Nightcrawler, he's got to put a move on and get to a certain location.
Look how great that Nightcrawler drawing is with the screen tones.
Love that.
So good.
Yeah, right. And it's like a gradient screen tone. While he's like slipping into the shadows.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish they would have like used that like a lot more. It's just a crazy, kind of thing thrown in there. And here comes Storm. She's using her powers to like throw guys around, and the Banshee's still up here blasting out all the little antenna arrays and things.
Yeah, they're trying to take it out before Magnum can realize that they're being attacked.
Yeah. And of course Storm's like thinking, wow, we're doing almost too well.
Yeah.
It's like, well, good. Yeah, you are. Good call, Storm. And so now let's see how the rest of the guys are getting in. So under the ocean, they're tunneling under the ground, under the ocean floor to the base. And Cyclops is blasting the way, and then Sunfire is like melting it as the blast to like seal the tunnel as they're making it. So it's hot, and they got a little oxygen mask so they can breathe.
Yeah, I really love this scene for a couple reasons. It's an interesting way of portraying them tunneling and showing them working together, and then Scott again using his blast in a kind of unique way, like he did last issue 2 when he sort of set it on a frequency, and then using Sunfire to do it. But the way that it's portrayed, you see like the dirt around them as they go through. And then also like the masks that they're wearing are clear. And I just think especially Scott in that middle panel looks so cool with that mask on. Almost like I wish that he looked like that all the time.
Yeah.
It's cool design.
And it's interesting, like the thoughtfulness of like the treatment of the mask, that like when they put it on Sunfire, like his costume mask has this weird flaring
Yeah.
at the bottom, so it would go over top of his little breathing mask, and that it sort of shows that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really cool. And again, and then in this panel, when we go back to Nightcrawler, he's sort of hidden in the shadows.
Yep.
Here, except for his arm. So we remember that like all of a sudden he had that power show up where like in deep shadows he's like invisible.
Yes.
And it seems like it's still in effect here.
Yeah, I'm sad to hear that they're gonna lose that, because it just looks cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we just got to remind ourselves to continually look out for when maybe that starts to go away.
Yeah, I don't think we'll really notice it until some time has passed, and we'll just kind of say we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah. And basically, Scott's, it's getting hot and stuffy, and
look how gross that is.
Yeah, they need Nightcrawler to like set a homing device at a certain point in the base, so they know where to tunnel upwards, so that they don't just end up in the ocean.
Yeah.
And he does that, and they're like, yes, finally. And so, shakaw, boom, and here they come into the base. And Colossus leads the way, and he's like, Nightcrawler, friend Kurt, are you here? And he gets grabbed from behind by Moses Magnum. And whammo, he gets just slugged and goes flying. Great little surprised Colossus face here, like, oh.
Yeah. Doink. Whammo. I love the whammo at the end of it, too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, knocks him clean out of the base here. And he has to, like, dig his hands into the cliff, into the rock, to stop himself so he doesn't fall into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a great little moment for Colossus here, because
it is.
We saw it last issue and probably the issue before that and like before that. He keeps getting just punched and taken out of the fights super easy by all these other characters. And he keeps thinking like, oh, I let everyone down. And right here, he's like, once again, I let my comrades down. I'm supposed to be the strongest X-Man. But yet of late, I have been as much use to them as a walking punching bag. That happens no more.
I mean, that's useful. It's useful to draw the fire and draw the punches, so you can.
Yeah.
As long as you can take them, why not?
Yeah. I mean, he is like the invulnerable one of the team. So if someone's going to get hit, it's better that he gets hit, and then everyone else can attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. But from this moment on, Colossus earns his keep.
Oh, he's pissed.
Yeah. So this could be a good turning point to make our Rusky a tougher character here. And here comes everybody else duking out with Magnum, but he's like got these like force bolts he's shooting off. And everybody's like trying to stay out of the way. And then he's like punching out Wolverine and decked him, and Sunfire's like gonna blow a hole in the roof so Storm and Banshee can join in. And they're kind of getting their butts kicked here. And now here come more Mandroids.
Yeah, Mark II Mandroids.
Ooh.
Where they took my suggestion and covered their faces so their necks don't look 6 feet long.
Yeah, they squatted them down a bit.
I sent my note into the past.
They read it. They got it. But our Mark II are no match for our newly energized Colossus. He comes in with a vengeance and just starts wrecking these suckers.
Yeah, that top panel is a great drawing of him. A great angle.
Yeah, you really get the sense that he just like leaping in there, no regard.
I never noticed a couple things on Colossus's uniform, and I'm wondering if it's just kind of sprung up in these last couple issues. He's got like some sort of like interesting belt that I never noticed before, and also look on his boots, that little like symbol. Has that always been there?
Yes, the little black lines,
the little triangles.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've always been there.
Well, I'm not very observant sometimes.
I'm pretty sure his belt has always been sort of the circle with the two little little cartridge looking things next to it.
Weird that I'm just picking up on it now.
And so Moses is like, "Oh yeah, you guys think you've won the battle, but you're going to lose the war. I'm going to sink."
I love Moses's hairline and his big forehead.
Yeah.
Doesn't that look like a Rob Liefeld mouth too?
Yeah, I mean he's like Cable before Cable.
Yeah, totally.
With the receding hairline and everything.
Yeah, proto Cable right there. Even got that little flash by the eye.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah. You can't even call him like Black Cable because Liefeld created Black Cable as G.W. Bridge. You remember him?
Yeah, totally, from Youngblood. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just as we digress into the Cable talk here. Okay. But Banshee, heads up, Sean me bucko. Magnum's taking a powder.
Yep. He said, if you attack me, I'm going to level all of Japan. So he's going to do it. And the door just shut. So this isn't good.
But Banshee, he's not going to let that happen if he can help it. Because he's a man of action here.
Right.
And he says, on the radio, I heard Sunfire screaming about Magnum firing energy blast. It's a long shot, but I've got to play it. If the Magnum forces some kind of energy beam, then I'm the only X-Man who has a prayer of stopping it. And he yells at Cyclops, get everyone off this rock, and for pity's sake, hurry. So he's taking charge. He's got a plan, and he's executing it without telling anybody what's going on, basically. So here goes Magnum into this crazy little chamber here. Where there's like a laser, a shaft that a laser drill had bored to the center of the Earth.
Ooh.
Which happened in Power Man Annual #1.
Okay.
So, we see like once again, X-Men comics crossing over in that sort of Iron Fist Power Man world.
Right. Yep. Anything that
which is very interesting.
Well, and also then I wonder if that giant-sized Spider-Man 5 was that written by Claremont? Do we know?
I don't know if it was or not.
Because I'm curious now whether or not this character is a Claremont creation.
Boy, we'll have to look that up. That's a good question because Claremont was definitely writing Marvel Team Up, which is a Spider-Man book.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's why I wonder. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But this core thing, drilled hole, is still here, and Magnum's still alive, and he is powering up so that he can destroy Japan.
This page is just awesome.
Yeah. Totally awesome. But here's Banshee's plan. Basically, in the way that Banshee has been used, like copying sort of the energy frequencies of like radio waves and other things to disrupt them, and the Mandroid armor, he's doing the same thing to the Magnum Force and creating, basically matching and then redirecting the Magnum Force back onto Moses Magnum and blocking it from going out to sink the islands. And so now we get this insane standoff with Moses Magnum increasing his power all out.
Great drawings.
To try and bust through, and Banshee doing his sonic scream to his total max to block the Magnum Force. And if he fails, then, you know, Japan's going to get sunk. Yep. And he's just like, look at this strain here. You can just see his neck all tightening up and his skin. Amazing.
So good. Yeah. And even Magnum, like with the way that they throw the shadow on over his, like, just crunched, you know, facial features.
Yeah.
And then you get this shot of the whole team, everybody reacting to the sound of this. And I love, look at Colossus. His fingers in his ears. Oh man, that's so good. Yeah. I just love that, you know, like, it feels very like a 70s like cop show or something would have, you know, they'd throw up like panels of, you know, reactions during it or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Great stalemate moment here. Battle. Great Banshee moment for the Banshee. And then all of a sudden, something gives, and Krakoom, and the island base and all these other things just kind of blow apart. And how intense was that? They tell us right here that yesterday, 100 tiny islands dotted this area of the North Pacific. Today, there are none. So that was enough to destroy 100 little uninhabited islands out in the ocean here.
But not 8 little X-Men.
No. They survived.
On the one tiny little rock that's left.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
And here comes Misty Knight, Colleen Wing, going to find help, and Sunfire, you know, makes himself into a human flare.
Yep. Look at the airplane panel. Even look at the propellers on that. How they drew that. That's you know, I've seen
right here.
Yeah.
And up here too.
Yeah, how it's wiggly there. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's a cool way to do. Yeah, in motion there. And
I've seen it like, you know, like you know, you have a circle and then you kind of go like down to the you know, center of where it's spinning, but never like a full just like line like that. And they're not even.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. It's a cool shot.
Mm-hmm. And here we get our planes swooping in low now. And here's our X-Men. Great shot. The Nightcrawler on Colossus's shoulders there.
Yeah.
Being the acrobat, like, yay. But down here in the foreground, it's a little bit more somber, you know, like Wolverine's asking, how's Irish?
Mm-hmm.
She says, not good. I fear he may have burned out his power and worse. Ooh. I don't know. That doesn't bode well.
And worse. There's an ad for Power Man Iron Fist.
Oh, and here's Misty Knight down in the corner.
That's a burn drawing? Or looks like it.
It does look like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It might be. I mean, he did some issues early on.
Oh, the first like 5 or something like that?
When they teamed up, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now 10 days later, we're back at Sunfire's at Shiro Yoshida's house. Banshee is getting home from the hospital. And he's just thinking to himself, he's kind of down in the dumps, like, why did nobody come and pick me up to bring me back? And then he turns on the lights, and it's a surprise party for him.
Ta-da!
Hey, and it's like,
We're gonna
yeah,
make
welcome
you feel
back.
lonely and like a loser, and when you wake up, and then we'll surprise you.
Yeah, right. And they do this great stuff in this scene here. Anytime Banshee's trying to speak, they make his word bubble like a dashed line,
like a whisper.
Yeah, like it's a whisper. It's like hard for him to talk even.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, "Hey, hold up, man! Don't try and talk. Just kind of hang out. We'll get you some punch." Cyclops says. Ooh, nice little foreground shot. Oh, Colossus and Storm hanging out together. A throwback to our old almost romance.
Mm-hmm.
And here goes Wolverine. He sees Mariko walking down the hallway here, and so he kind of leaves the party. He's like, "I gotta go, Aurora. Something personal, but don't worry, I'll behave myself." And she's thinking like, "Well, that's odd. I've never seen Wolverine sound or act so gentle. It's a nice change."
Yeah.
And it kind of is a nice change, even as like a reader, like, all right, he's not just being a gruff a-hole the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's remarking how everyone they're like a family now.
Yeah.
They've all grown so much. And like reading the book at this point, like you feel that too.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, it really feels like they're a family, and you feel like you feel good like checking in. Every month you're like, all right, checking in on how my team's doing, how my fam's doing here.
Yeah.
And so she goes up to Kurt and gives him a smooch, just saying like, "Hey, I want to let you know that I love you."
Yep.
And then she goes out here and calls Colossus little brother.
Yeah. Look at Kurt's. Kurt is so happy to get this little smooch that he grows pupils.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yep.
It's like, whoa. But of course, Colossus, as happens from time to time, like he's missing his own family back in Russia.
Yeah, he talks about how he's really the only one that has a family, which is kind of true, except for Scott's obviously got a brother, but yeah, he has a family, back in the motherland.
Yeah, and it's Christmas time, so it's like, that's sort of your holiday with family, and he's kind of missing his family.
Yeah. Well, a place where you can make free long distance phone calls.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah. Go use Shiro's phone and just give him a call.
But Shiro's really going to be pissed when he gets the bill.
But maybe his family doesn't have a phone though.
Oh, that's true. They are like peasants, right? Because when you show them, it looks like it's 1918 Russia.
Yeah, right. So now we get some interesting little epilogues here. So we start with Jean, who has made her way over to Scotland, and it mentions that, hey, she spent some time in Greece kicking around, which we remember they showed us a little Greece adventure in Classic X-Men of the last issue Classic X-Men. So that's why they do it, because like she mentions it here. But now she's in Scotland, and here's, of course, Alex, aka Havok, and Moira, and Polaris, and the Multiple Man, only here he's single, the single man.
Yeah, the individual man.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're like, I envy your tan, Jean. And she's like, I worked hard to get it. And well, that's probably true. Like that, she, a redhead like that.
Yeah, she doesn't have a tan. She's looking like a lobster.
Yeah, she burned a little bit, and then that's all. And so they're like, all right, they're going to spend a few days in Edinburgh and see the sights and celebrate Christmas. And then they're going to head back to Muir Island.
Cut to.
So, hooray! And so let's cut to Muir Island and see what's going on over there. Yeah, and we remember that Moira has this badass mutant research center on her own private island that she owns.
Here's a character I thought we would never see again.
Oh, old Angus McWhirter.
Yep.
What a curmudgeon.
The hoverboat rental man.
Yep. Great callback to like what could have been just a throwaway character. Let's bring him back.
Yep.
So the X-Men, even though they paid for the hoverboat, they didn't like that they made him look like a fool.
Yeah.
So he's going to get some revenge because he hates him. He just hates him.
Yes.
So he's breaking in here past the little door that says Mutant X. Uh-oh.
Yeah, look at that.
Uh-huh.
I thought I saw that too. I can't really see what it says underneath that. But...
I think it's no admittance.
Oh, okay. Look at the cool ink texture. It's hard to see on the screen, but there's a cool ink texture underneath him there where it's this like lattice effect that a lot of people use. But man, I don't think I've ever seen it used as skillfully as that. Yeah,
it works real great for like the sort of shadows where his flashlight isn't hitting.
Yeah.
The light and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's thinking, some well-placed charges are gonna wreck this place.
Yeah, man, he is like pissed about that hovercraft.
Yeah, he's gonna freaking set bombs and blow up the island.
Jeez.
But we see the light from his flashlight, but also here's some light from a door opening from Mutant X. And he's like, oh, if people get hurt along the way, well, that's even better. And then we hear this voice, human, I need you. And McWhirter says, oh my God. Oh my God. And he doesn't even have time to scream.
Nope.
Muir Island, Christmas Day, a life ends and a nightmare is born.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Crazy, man.
Ooh, nice little drop in the beginning of what is going to turn into an awesome little X-Men epic down the road.
Muir Island sucks.
It is not a friendly place.
No.
As we will see through our journey through X-Men, it'd probably be easier to try and keep a tally of any time something good happens on Muir Island.
Yeah,
because it's going to be that's going to be a really short tally list.
Yeah, seriously. Awesome. Well, let's delve into the classic, huh?
Yeah. And next issue, Wanted Wolverine, Dead or Alive.
Oh my God.
So look forward to that in issue 120.
Let's
Oh, and hey, before we do, I wanted to not necessarily mention Moses Magnum specifically, but I just wanted to bring up as we've seen with the new X-Men run here, like Claremont has done like a really good job of adding depth and stuff to villains that are like older villains that he's bringing back, like Juggernaut and Magneto and the Sentinels. But I think even more so than that, when he gets a chance to like create villains on his own, they're like really strong for the most part. Like
Yeah.
Black Tom
Mhm.
was really strong. The Shadow King in that just short little piece that we saw in issue 117 is just like steals the show. Is just like terrifying
Yeah.
in that short little bit that he gave him.
They're not
Um,
generic. They're like fully realized in his head with backstories and everything so
yeah,
that they can live the second that they hit the page, you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he doesn't have to try and work around and pay homage to what was written about the characters before and then try and then develop them. He's got that chance to just think it all the way through and then just hit it all the way he wants to right from the get-go.
Yeah, but that's what's brilliant about him too, is that he has this ability to create these amazing characters, but then also this skill of retroactively turning characters into amazing characters, you know?
Yeah.
It's a double skills there.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was like a good moment to just kind of recognize his villain work because like, Moses Magnum isn't the greatest or most memorable of an X-Men villain, and he isn't really in the two issues. He's kind of the villain for very long.
Right.
He's kind of in the background, and they don't fight him for very long.
Yeah.
And he's not like, you don't read it, and he's not like a bad villain where you're like, oh, this guy sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not like Count Nefaria.
Right.
But it just made me think of like the other guys that he's been able to create on his own so far.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's take a look at the classic one. You got a Kerry Gamble cover again. Art Adams has been absent the last two cover issues, but
That's
we
good.
got Kerry Gamble here.
I like the way that that scene is framed there on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him just like, how much power does he have? He's kind of like, comparatively like a kind of a skinny looking guy, but he's holding up the biggest guy just by the scruff of his neck, so that's some power. And then you've got this Banshee shot here, from because Banshee overdid himself.
That's a great Banshee drawing.
Yeah, it is. This really feels like I guess it's, what year is this? Like 80, 88. So we're approaching the 90s here. This is starting to feel like 90s drawings here. It's sort of, I'm feeling the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, all those guys we think of as like the 90s guys, image guys, they're all working.
They are all working at this point. 88. Yep. Like Liefeld's over on like Megaton or whatever it was, and
is he on New Mutants already?
88. Maybe. I don't know. No, I don't know. I can't answer that. So I shouldn't.
He's got to be pretty close.
It's getting close. Yeah. And Eric Larson, he's coming up. You've got 88. You've got McFarlane is doing like Secret Invasion stuff, maybe over at DC before he makes the leap over to Marvel.
Yeah, and
doing that.
Silvestri's already doing X-Men.
So yeah, it's coming. All right, so basically here, this is all the same stuff that we saw before. Obviously, just a bit of different coloring in these shots. Until, where do we go? Oh, here we go. Oh shoot, I was going to cover it. I forgot. Well, anyway, so you get this Magnum backstory where it was a time when he was trying to create an earthquake into the center of the earth, This happened in Power Man #1, where they thought he was dead. He miles to fall, and a myriad of ways to die. He shrieks more with rage than fear, and as though offended that his life is over. Imagine his surprise when he discovers it isn't, and he as he's falling, he's gonna get crushed by everything. He wakes up and is tied to this thing, and Apocalypse has zapped him out of there. Awesome. In the regular continuity, we haven't seen Apocalypse yet. He's not been created yet.
Not for a whole lot of years.
Yeah, I think there's like a 10-year difference between these things.
Mm-hmm.
So the power that Magnus has gained when we see him in the regular thing, the reason that he is like that is because he is basically a slave to Apocalypse, and that's the price. He's like, I like your style, Magnum. I wish to offer you power beyond your wildest dreams. Out of the kindness of your heart, you cause chaos and thrive on it. To paraphrase Nietzsche, whatever does not kill the race makes it stronger. And in my world to come, only the strong will survive, and the strongest rule. I offer you a chance to join us. And the price? Your freedom. You will no longer be your own man, but mine. And if I refuse, I teleport you back to where I found you. Then I have no choice. No, the ultimate choice. I am yours.
Oh, good
so
choice.
That happened right before here. So I noticed on your copy that there was a lot more text here. So it just kind of cuts a lot of that text out and leads us to this flashback, which is kind of cool. Wow. And then also there's this other scene here that they added where they're kind of waiting around in the hospital for Banshee to wake up, and Misty kind of pulls her partner over here and is like, there's something brewing between you and Scott. And she says, that's our business. He's in pain, Misty. I think that I can help. Is that so awful? So it just gives a little bit more time to, and she talks about, Jean's my roommate, but this is my partner, and maybe it isn't my problem, but I don't want either of them to get hurt. That's all. And so, it kind of just gives a little bit more of that. So I'm not sure if there's something that's brewing by the time that Scott gets back and finds out that Jean's alive, that he's with this chick or not. But they're adding to that story. And then it goes along, and then we get to our backstory. So prologue. There is we're in the tundra here, and something's going on where Wolverine needs to sneak up and plant dynamite on this place where these people are sleeping. You don't really find out who they are. And he sets it off, and as he's running away, this is a really cool drawing of him running away, it blows, and his suit catches fire, and
that's a great little sequence there.
Yeah, where he's really jacked up here. It's so burned off, and I love how it's like just falling apart here. And it's so jacked up that he's got one white eye and then one where his pupil's peeking through. And then they go to this hunter, this guy who's hunting him. They kind of skip, and it goes to his inner dialogue about how, he's such a great hunter, and, he sees the beast, and he's sure that the beast sees him, and he can't believe it. Like, I can't believe that this thing has seen me. And then he goes back and starts to talk about, and then it skips to Wolverine, and he's like, God, that guy is so loud, like he's gonna let every single predator that's hungry around here know that, we're easy pickings out here. And then the hunter talks about, goes and he's like, first thing I ever hunted was fish, and then deer, those gentle doe eyes, their sad, trusting look. Bah, this is kid talk. Deer are stupid. Bambi's a cartoon. The deer is just meat. You pull the trigger, you kill it. So he's
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Tough
harsh.
Guy. Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Tough Guy, and he's just like watching this eagle, and so does Logan, but then he smells something. There's this bear behind him. Oh god.
Oh
This is
damn!
great. I feel like I've seen this before, and I'm not sure if I've seen this image before or if it's like the Sienkiewicz
Yeah, the demon bear
stuff, but it feels reminiscent of it,
Uh-huh.
Which by this time, 88, Sienkiewicz definitely already did or is working on the demon bear stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Wolverine just like takes the thing out, and then the hunter, while he's doing that and slugs off, the hunter gets this arrow, pulls it back, and he's like, oh no, that idiot, don't do it, you jerk. And the arrow comes, and he grabs it and just like throws it right back and gets him in the leg, and just keeps walking off, and that's the end of it.
Oh man, that's such a great like ninja move. Like you catch the star and just like throw it back.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that ending, and it's just so like, this hunter is like just an idiot walking through the woods trying to hunt Wolverine, who like it doesn't really say that the guy was like hunting him for any other reason that he's out hunting, and like you're hunting a person. It's kind of weird, but yeah, and then you get this great, Bolton back cover. Cool stuff.
Cool image.
Cool stuff. So yeah, man. So that is issue 119 of the Uncanny X-Men.
Of the Uncanny X-Men.
Yes. The Eagle Award winning Uncanny X-Men. So yeah, grab and we're still on, we're not veering off right now, right? Next week is 120. So
yes, sir.
So find your X-Men, Uncanny X-Men issue 120s. Find your classic X-Men number 26. Find your scanlations, your Marvel Unlimited, whatever you have to do. Marvel Master, I don't know, whatever. There's a million ways to read this book and get it, and join us, won't you, as we continue the saga of Chris Claremont's Uncanny X-Men. Until next time, John, anything else to say?
Be excellent, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Later. Check out DinoBeast.com for all things John Coates, like Dino Beast, Ninja 4, MLF, Berserker, and more. ChrisAndersonComics.com is where it's at for books like Chaotic Neutral, Spectral, A Showcase of Fear, Lost Angels, and more, plus apparel and original art. Also a link to Patreon where you can read Three-Headed Pigman now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. We'll see you next time on the Chris Claremont X-Men Comic Club.